just kind of refreshing what it is about this practice that makes it special. And I'm just going to read to you a few things about the benefits, just to remind us, you're here because you enjoy flow, you enjoy nature, you enjoy, all of us being together. But I do like to refresh every once in a while how energy moves in the body. So think of the body's internal highways. Think of your body as a vibrant electrical system, right? And also, just like highways transport cars, your body has internal roots that carry signals and nourishment and subtle energy. And those roots include things like your nerves, blood vessels, your fascia, breath, and fluid movement. And the way that energy flows, it moves in a simple formation of circulation. There's breath and neural signals going on, and all things are maintained by your deep breathing, right? That grounds you and it supports the vagal tone. There's mindful movement that's like aligning your muscles and your fascia for smooth flow. There's the calming of the nervous state, which reduces, the resistance in the tissues. Hydration and nourishment fuels all the systems. And there's also an emotional component. There's an emotional regulation that happens when all of this circuitry starts to hum along. And so if we know we're kind of in a traffic jam where energy is not flowing well, if we've got tight or sore muscles, limited joint mobility, shallow breathing, mental fog or fatigue, or even emotional heaviness. And so this practice this morning, may it decongest us, unclog anything that's clogged, and leave us feeling fluid and able to dance with the energies of the day and of life. Reading from the Sage's Tao Te Ching. This is called Without Resistance. Resistance is the opponent of the sage. Resistance in the mind allows no new thinking. Resistance of the body brings stiffness and disease. Resistance of the spirit makes a sorrow of life. Without resistance, the sage, the wise one, welcomes life and death as one. And without resistance, action and rest can flow together and life becomes full of joy. So right from where you're standing, I want you to attune yourself to noticing where there is tightness and resistance and how that might be different than feeling strong in your body. So just do a little scan starting at the soles of your feet. I'm going to sweep up and just notice where you might be tight or resistant or emotionally tight, mentally really gripping on something that you want. And we're just going to try to soften around all of that. And maybe in doing so, what we're really wanting will be able to find us and come to us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Right, so observing now your breath and noticing any places that feel tight or congested in your breathing. So nice, slow, deep abdominal breaths. Feel that breath come in and out through your nostrils. Allow yourself to relax and notice that you are in an exchange with your environment through the breath, through the inhale and exhale. And then start to sink your attention down into your feet and feel that you're in an exchange with the land where we are or the space where you are at home. Right? You're in relationship with what is underneath your feet. And then by sinking your attention into your feet, really allow your feet to melt down a little bit into the ground. Soften your knees slightly. And by lifting the pubic bone just subtly, feel your tailbone sink. Draw your chin in a tad. Crown of your head lifts, and notice the spine lengthening, right? This chi highway lengthening from our tailbone up to our crown. And then your arms, give a little wave, a little billow of the arms, and let them rest so that they feel like there's a little bit of space between your arms and your torso. And take some breaths. Feel that you are balanced evenly in your feet, so you're not into the toes or into the heels. And we're coming into this stance, this is called Wuji. It's emptiness and completely full of possibility. So along with sinking our attention down into our feet, allowing the breath to sink down into the belly, we're also engendering, encouraging an awareness through the crown of the head and all around the sphere that we find ourselves, like a 360-degree sphere of chi. We're breathing and existing in this beautiful atmosphere saturated with chi, with life force energy. A few more moments again to visualize that Taiji pole that runs from heaven to earth and back and forth, and on which we are existing. And calling the mind into all the visualizations that I offer you, try to engage the imagination so that the mind is very much involved in this kind of practice. There's no checking out and thinking about something else. We are just really right here. And then we're going to start with a little bit of a bouncing. So we'll do some cleansing exercises from the Qigong tradition that get us ready to circulate the Qi with our Tai Chi section of the practice. So I'm going to start by a little bit of bouncing and deepen your sensitivity to how your body is feeling, right? So we're not going to force. We're going to use maybe 70% effort. We're going to be relaxed. But right now, we want to shake off anything that we brought into the practice that's just not going to be helpful. So whatever it is, it could be the concerns of yesterday or the rehearsing of what's to come. It could just kind of be that a feeling of heaviness or mental exhaustion. Maybe you've really been working a problem over and over in your mind, and your mind just needs a chance to get a break from that. And so feel that you might be flicking anything off your wrist that doesn't feel like you need it. And you kind of bring this sense of shaking, we'll shake the tree, up into your whole body. So not only fingers, wrists, but our elbows have like a little bit of a jiggly pump, our shoulders, and down into the hips and the knees, shaking like a tree. Releasing what we don't need. Even already there's some leaves on the ground, right? Have served their purpose for the tree and they've been shaken off, fallen off. And then just take a moment to slow that down. If you're comfortable to close your eyes, do so. Invite your awareness down into your body. Notice any feeling of enlivenment from that. Little buzz or a hum, kind of like the cicadas, kind of buzz and hum from the trees. We've got cells of our body starting to buzz and hum. So we're going to take out the trash. You're going to rise up with your wrists. This will be an inhale, and an exhale. You're going to swish it back and breathe out. So can you come up? Encourage an exhale through an open mouth. Whatever taking out the trash might mean for you this morning. Maybe the more trash you've got, the bigger the exhale. You know? Once or twice more. Just come back to Wuji. And this time, so we've got the physical stance. Now we'll add the posture of the hands facing the ground. So we're settling continually from movement back into stillness and into feeling and sensing and connecting. Right? The mind is the ally in this practice, so we're drawing it in, engaging. Notice any way you feel a little bit freer or more present. And we're going to turn from the waist and turn left and right. And let it be a slow build. So at first, we're turning from the waist. And then we can feel the whole torso come into the turn. We're keeping that soft bend in the knees and our sense of being grounded in our feet. And this is a spinal warm-up. So as you kind of pick up the pace a little bit, encourage the flopping of the arms around, encourage the tapping of the hands on the low back and on the abdomen, lower dantian, and on the low back, the mingmen. Encourage some purging breaths, which come in through the nose, but out through the mouth. And tap, as firmly on the body as you feel comfortable with. If those arms swing around, you've got a little decompression potentially happening through your shoulders. And then this winding up the center channel of the body, winding up this Taiji pole that runs right from heaven to earth through our body. And you can come on up and tap up into the chest. If it doesn't feel like you need a purging breath, maybe just an exhalation. It's a sigh of satisfaction. You made it to practice this morning. Nature gave us a beautiful day, divine location. And a few more times, you can certainly turn enough to look over your shoulder if you want, if that feels good for you. Tapping right up into the shoulders and chest area. And we're coming on down the pole. Cover as much territory as you can with these taps. Tapping away tension, tapping in awareness and good health. This is a self-healing practice. Qigong and Tai Chi. For longevity, vitality. And so let's slow that down. Return to Wu Ji, that posture of extreme rest, relaxation, well supported by your structure. Grounded through the feet, kind of inspired through the breath. And as you stand in this posture of just emptiness and possibility, how little effort can you expend to just stay standing for a moment? Let's facilitate the release a little bit more by tapping into the top of the head. We're going to tap, slap, knock down through the whole body. We're starting at the crown of the head. And as you start to travel around and engage the hands with the body, right? Your hands aren't just tools. Right? Your hands are healing powerhouses. So as you're tapping into the body, you're just tapping in this loving kindness, this good health, this consideration that you are your own healer to a certain extent, at least. Then tap down around your temples. And you don't have to precisely follow my guidance in any of this practice. Tapping the cheekbones down into the cheeks. You float your chin up, you can tap down into the neck. Find your way down into your upper chest and tap a little there. It's tapping of like waking up all the systems of the body. Tap out to the outer collarbone edges. Nice. Tap down and pat down through the chest. So broader palms now onto the rib cage. Sideways forward to the lower dantian, the lower abdomen. Nice. Tap around to the back of your waist, into the kidneys. It's supporting your vital energy. Tapping down with broad palms outside of the hips and bending forward just to your degree of comfort down the outside of the leg, potentially over the tops of the feet, or you can just wave at your feet. Up the insides of the legs, all the way back up the chest. Keep the left palm in action. Take your right arm out with your right palm up and cup, slap down inside the inside of your right arm. Hand over. Covering as much territory as you can, up, over. We'll do one more time down this arm. Roll it down. All the muscles to soften, enliven, function of the cells in your body. Right across the chest. Let's switch hands. Left palm turns up, down. It's like you take care of your skin probably by putting some lotion on. At least I do. Maybe you could imagine this is the same kind of thing. You're just applying something really helpful to your body by doing this tapping. Come across the center, come down, find the lower dantian, and this time rest your palms over the lower abdomen. Check in and make sure that you haven't locked your knees. You've got a slight bend. Sink your breath right down deeper into your lower abdomen. Take a few long, slow, deep breaths. Just calm and receptive. Yielded, not forcing. More like water than stone. And we're going to start a little circulation flow. So take your arms out in front of you, leading with the wrists, just rising and sinking, just like that at first. Fire and water interact. Lead with your wrists. Feel how drapey your fingertips are. They're just kind of following along. And we'll stay with this a little bit so it can imprint and you can explore how to be most at ease in the movement. And this law of least effort is certainly not the way I was indoctrinated into culture. It was all by power and force. So just be with me in this exploration of how to move with least effort and have a good measure of your attention starting to settle into your hands. You know, naturally your feet as well. We already spoke of that, but now a little bit more into the hands, almost like you are just petting the chi in your surroundings. Your breath and your movement are synchronized so that there's this beautiful, elegant dance going. And in part of using least effort for many of us is not to be way out in front of us so much, but we're really up and down in this channel of our body. So we're not taxing our shoulders by trying to reach out too far. Even just the relaxation through your hands starts to allow the hands to be like magnets, attracting the chi, gathering it in. The thinking being that every part of our body has this ability to absorb energy from our environment, as well as to circulate the energy that already exists inside of us. So we are building our energy savings account, energy bank account. A few more times. Rising and falling. And we're going to add on to this movement. So next time you come on up with me, come on down, sink down toward the ground. You'll know how far down to reach. And as you draw up, bring your fingertips together. And then as you're tracing the center line from the ground up, your fingertips are kind of leading the way. The backs of the hands come together all the way up overhead. Circulating, collecting energy, sky energy, yang energy, inspiration, sunshine, all of that, and drawing that right down through the crown of your head. You can imagine it pouring in, filling golden light into all the parts of your body, clear through, down all the way to your feet. And we're going to follow that pattern a bit. Inhale, up. And exhale, back down. Pausing. Coming up again, breathe it in. This time we're going to reach down. We're going to gather yin energy from the earth fingertips together, coming up through the pelvic floor, all the way up through the body, all the way out through the crown of the head. Gather, breathing in, and exhale, bring it down. Charging every cell of the body with this beautiful cleansing solar energy. That's the pattern for a little bit. Inhale, bring it up, soft lift. Exhale, sink it down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Inhale, gather. Draw it all the way up the body. Releasing the breath on the lifting of the hands, and then inhale, gather in. Bring it down. Filling a container over and over and over. So a few more times like that. Inhale, rising. Exhale, sinking. Inhale, up. Exhale, bring it down. Gathering healing resources that we need from the earth for our nourishment. Gathering healing resources from above that we need for our well-being. Draw it down. One more time. Yep. Notice if you're able to take a slower, deeper, fuller breath. If so, really engage with that. All the way down. Scooping, gathering. Rising. Reaching. And receiving. Coming back to the Wuji stance with palms facing the earth. Bring your mind's eye to your hands and your feet. You're connecting with the earth force, the gravitational pull. Got some attention downward into our sense of being grounded and solid and stable, supported. Let your hands relax by your side. Lift your right ear up toward the sky. I'm going to start into a little side bending sequence so we can open the sides of the spinal joints. Coming back to the center, lift your left ear up, let your right ear come to the side. And then each of us on our own start to find this nice little flow from side to side. So we don't need to stay in sync with each other necessarily, but it potentially could be progressive. So if you start to feel like the stretch is enjoyable and you like it, you can come over a little further. And all the while, maintaining that stability of feeling our feet connected to the ground. There is strength in the structure of our lower body that's supporting us standing up. And with this nice swaying of the head side to side, really encouraging that sense of openness to the side of the neck, side of the spine. And you can prepare to hold with me as we bend over to the left. We'll all have different degrees of bend, I'm sure. You can allow your right arm to drape across your chest. And for a moment, turn your nose down towards your left thumb. And just hang here for a moment, kind of like a side hanging ragdoll. Feel that potential opening all the way down through your right ribs, your right side waist. Good. And then look forward, reset that right arm to where it was, press into your feet, slowly kind of dial your body back upright. Take a breath in, breath out, spin the other side. Staying anchored in the feet, coming to the bend that feels good. If you want to drape the left arm over your chest, you can. And if you want to hang your head so your nose points down towards your right thumb, do so if that feels good for you. It's going to bring ourselves right back up to standing. Let's gather the hands in, draw them up. And when the hands get overhead, kind of hook your thumbs together, face your palms forward. The hands are overlapped. Bend your knees a little bit, and side bend to the left. and side bend to the right. And the next time you side bend over to the left, we're going to round the spine. I'm going to roll it around. And you're going to follow a range of motion that works well for you. Welcoming is any of this opening that might be happening through the spine, through the low back, mid back, upper back. And just pause with the hands overhead at some point and prepare to go the other way. And let your head roll around as well. So releasing tension from the neck. We're enjoying the way that the breath is supporting the movement. How relaxed can your face and your body be and still maintain the movement? And the next time we all find ourselves forward, we're going to stay here. So if your forward fold looks just like a very slight fold, you can support your hands on the thighs, just sink your head down. There's others in varying degrees of reaching toward the ground. There could be some that touch the ground with the palms. And we'll take some breaths here. We're allowing the head to feel heavy toward the ground and allowing maybe a little bit of nodding or bobbing. We want to feel the chance for the spine to decompress. Lengthening your spine by virtue of the weight of your head. Let's let go of connection of the hands to each other. Roll ourselves up, restacking our spine. And just kind of coming back to Wuji for a few moments with these intervals of a very body-centered meditation. Be at ease. You can have your hands facing the ground, just hanging, or Bao Qi, where your palms face towards your abdomen. Kind of beaming that energy from your palms into your body. Notice how your senses are open. Even if your eyes are closed, the hearing is very active. The sense of touch with this air on your skin, very active. Mind quiet. Heart relaxed. Slide the hands right onto the hips. Have a look down, reposition your feet, maybe even a little bit wider than they've been. I'm going to start to hip circle. It's going to be like a spiraling action. The circles start small. And it could be tempting now to lean forward, but at this time, bring your head back up. Kind of draw your chin in slightly. You want to feel that you are well aligned with your spine, shoulders, and skull. And start to relax into a little bit wider circles. So if you'd like to push your hips as far back, side, and forward as feels comfortable without strain, do so. Come back to your breath. It could be about this time that you're ready for a few cleansing breaths where you're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Allowing ourselves to appreciate just the simplicity of our mobility. Something as simple as this. What a blessing to be able to move our bodies like this. And we're going to spiral the way back in until the hips become still. Pause. Notice that still point. And then start to spiral the other way. Start with small circles first. Make those circles a little bit bigger as you go. You greet each breath as a new guest. Keep the moment fresh by revisiting your feet planted on the ground, especially if your mind feels overactive and distracted or busy. Keep grounding down into your feet. Spiral that all the way back in. So gather the hands in over the lower abdomen and step our feet closer together. They don't have to touch, but closer together. Stand up nice and tall, unlock your knees, release the effort of that Qigong. And it's a transition before our Tai Chi. We're just bamboo in the breeze. So we're trying to be as relaxed as possible without falling over and letting the body drift. Even just this simple act of allowing the body to drift and come back to center on its own is a teacher. Can we trust that we'll always find our way back into balance? Can we let ourselves be moved kind of like by the currents of life without losing our way? And can we kind of follow where the body leads? So as this little organic rocking and shifting and drifting around happens, can you just follow along? Like you're being led in a dance. And observe the act of slowing that down, becoming a little more still once again. Good. And then let's take a shifting breath. Let's release the hands away from the abdomen. Re-step your feet hip distance wide or a little wider. I tend to like more leg action, just how I'm built. And then let's bring the attention, revisit the hands. So rub. So we're gonna get ready for the Tai Chi 5. And there's a lot of hand movements in it. So we wanna be very connected to our hands. So we're rubbing, maybe both sides of the hands. A little clapping. Nice way to meditate. A little easier for me than just sitting still. We're gonna head into a moving meditation. We're going to start with the hands over off the left hip. And this is harmonizing yin and yang. And so the way that we're going to arrange the hands is left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. You're forming a little ball, a chi ball, energy ball. We're just going to move this ball all around. So for a couple of moments, pulse on the ball. And if you don't feel any sensation between the hands, that's perfectly fine. It can exist in your mind's eye. You're going to pulsing, expanding and contracting this chi ball that is your own unique chi kind of signature. And you're working with your own energy amidst the energy of the environment. We're going to be turning from right to left and back and forth. So this first movement, harmonizing yin and yang. As we start to turn our body toward the right, the bottom hand comes up, turning. As you get over toward the right, the hands turn to reform the chi ball, right hand on top, left hand on the bottom. Turn the other way now. Bottom hand starts to rise. Right hand just kind of follows along eventually. Reform the chi ball off your left hip. And that's our form. So you're going to rotate. Nice and slow. Your breathing is nice. But you certainly don't have to go at my pace. It's beneficial to me to go really slow because the medicine I need tend to move a little too quickly in life. So I go really slow. But you can go whatever pace works for you. One of the reasons we call it Tai Chi Easy is because we've just selected 5 of the many movements we could choose from Tai Chi, made it nice and simple, and primarily focused on the hand and arm movement. However, if you find it interesting to weight shift, feel free to do that. Or even to kind of walk in place, as long as it doesn't take you out of your meditation, it's fine. And if you find you get lost in thought, just give a nice sigh out, have a little smile, the human condition, and come back to your moving meditation. Be as loose and fluid as water. Just got the power to change stone over time. Water is powerful. Really, really fluid. As it's somewhat like you are massaging that chi ball, you're kind of stretching it and reforming it, toning it, shaping it. Also welcome the chi in the atmosphere around you, the biosphere. Beautifully supportive for human life. We're also moving within that biosphere. We're absorbing the most pristine energies that we need for health and for service. Harmonizing yin and yang. So take a few passes, maybe holding that word harmonizing gently in your heart mind. How good it feels when we listen to music that is beautifully harmonized. How we feel when we feel balanced, attuned, in harmony with our own intentions. Refine your movement in these next few passes. As I said before, your movements do not need to look like mine. All going to meet up off the left hip. So don't rush, stay with your cadence. Meet off the left hip with your chi ball. Roll the chi ball a half a turn. Right palm is on top, left palm's on the bottom. Pulse a moment, really remind those hands of the connection and the presence of that chi ball. And then brush knee, send chi. Top hand drops down in the direction of the right knee, thus the brush knee wording. And the left palm sends chi over toward the space to the right. Left hand fades down, right hand rises. And now we turn, brush knee with the left hand, send chi with the right. And that's the pattern. Right hand fades, left hand rises, rotate, right hand brushes knee, left hand sends chi. Just make that your own dance. Noticing the pace at which you are moving. You're harmonizing yourself also to just the pace of nature. For the most part, storms aside, nature seems to move fairly slowly. How relaxed can you stay through all your joints? Kind of creating motion as though the motion was initiating from your bones. One of the benefits of these very slow, extremely low impact forms of exercise and movement are the subject of a lot of study, and how different it is than working out at the gym, but the long-term benefits are amazing. Drawing in more energy than you're expending. So that is good for your energy accounting. Drawing it in, scarcely spending any of it, so that energy savings account builds for you to use later. Last handful of passes, if sending chi is something that you would like to do, kind of in your heart mind as a form of prayer, you could call it. You can send chi, take a little from your account and send it out where you know it's needed. Take another pass. End up facing forward in a protection cross. You're crossing at the wrists, hug your arms in, let them touch your body. So the posture of Wuji, emptiness full of possibility, but pausing here, kind of sealing in the accumulated chi thus far. Granting ourselves permission to protect our energy when we feel necessary. Cutting through to clarity, the third move. Elbows part, hands part. So from your elbows to your fingertips are like two blades of a sword, a knife, two knife blades. We're going to be moving primarily forward and back here, so not as much the turning. Take your left thumb, bring it back, and take your right hand and move it forward and gaze forward like you're looking down to really aim at something. And then shift it the other way. Bring your right hand back, your left hand forward. And then that starts to become, that's the motion. So be good to your shoulders. You need to overwork it. I just want you to move back and forth. And you can meditate on the name, cutting through to clarity. That quality of clarity, of knowing, of right view, perspective, and wisdom. It cuts through the delusion. Make it personal if you want. Where do you need clarity today? Where do you need insight? A few more times. Cutting through to clarity. Meeting back up in that protection cross, relax your shoulders. Your eyes if you're comfortable. Relax into the posture. Allow your senses to be very present for you. So we're going to do cloud hands. We're going to come over off the hip again. And this time you're going to turn to have your right palm facing you, and your left palm's going to turn to face the ground. And as we sweep across with these very relaxed hands, there's space between the fingers. We're imitating the flow of clouds through the sky. And when the right hand drops down, the left hand rises, and we start to turn. Just as clouds pass through the sky, thoughts pass through the mind, emotions pass through the heart, so we're demonstrating that with our hands. And we're moving at the pace that works for us. If you've had any leisure time lately and you've been able to just look into the sky and watch the clouds, it's such a beautiful meditation to see how nothing stays the same. They're always reforming. And so it is with us, always in transition. Notice how slow and deep and rich your breath is. How relaxed you could possibly be to your shoulders, your elbows, wrists, and fingers. Every once in a while, maybe an exhale through an open mouth that helps you just release a little something, be able to be more present. As with some of the other movements, if you want to weight shift, you can certainly do that. Lifting up one heel, pressing into one foot more than the other. Activating that healer within all this movement and presence and breath. Several more passes. Dancing with energy, welcoming the quality of ease. Eventually meeting up in the protection cross over the heart. Pause and settle. Wuji. Emptiness and possibility. Integrating yin and yang. You're gonna reach down, kind of bellow the arms out. We're gonna scoop up like we're a big basket of something fabulous, drawing it up the body, pausing at the heart. Another in breath, reach out, reach up, and draw down. That's the form. You're gathering from the earth. You're gathering from the sky. And the body the chance to assimilate everything needed for balance. few more passes. We're going to meet together with the hands overhead. And we're going to seal the energy in by tracing the channel. So bring your palms down to the top of your head. And you can touch the body or just hover, whatever is your preference. Slide the hands around the skull. So you're trying to touch as much of the body as possible, these chi-filled hands, back of the neck, over the tops of your shoulders, down across the chest, around your rib cage. Slide the palms around to the back, sealing in the energy in the kidneys, the low back. Hands down, outer hips, outer legs, tops of the feet, inseam of the legs, up through the torso, crossing over the chest, sealing down to the arms. Any way that just do it the way that makes sense for you. Sealing it in. Nice. Bring the hands back down and seal the cauldron, this container of energy right here. I'm going to step the feet back in a little bit closer. Just kind of little rise with the wrists. Exhale, bring them down. Cup your right palm to face up. Bring your left arm out around. Draw down. Centering gesture. Your left palm faces up. Your right arm comes around. Gathering, drawing, centering. Again. Right side. And the arms come out together. So drawing down. And the hands at the heart, pause. Release. And we'll sit down for a few moments, well, about 5 minutes to conclude the practice. So you can sit or lay down, whatever you would like. Oh, yeah, right. So some people like to lay down for the last 5 minutes. If you have familiarity with yoga, there's a final posture called Shavasana. So some people like to lay down at this time and kind of enter into that same energy as Shavasana, but I want you to come into an easeful way. So if you choose to sit, try to give yourself the option to sit with as much ease as possible. So whatever that might look like for different people. And this is time dedicated to just feeling the chi, integrating, welcoming. And since your hands are those instruments of healing, if you care to, you could take the palms and place them on the body anywhere you'd like, particularly if you've got injury or just areas of the body that are currently struggling. You can take your palms and just rest them there. You could give a little rub if you wanted, or a squeeze, kind of massage style, or just the very presence of your hands. And if you're not able to put your hands wherever the body is calling, place your attention there. Your just loving, kind attention. I just encourage you to release the weight of your body, whether you're lying down or sitting. Release the weight of your body right down onto the face of the earth. Feel and sense the natural movement of your breathing. Feel how the moment is just pregnant with possibility. The possibility for your body to continue its healing process, possibility for insight and wisdom to arise and to find you not in this moment, in the coming moments. And the possibility that you can viscerally experience letting go and relaxation. Feel how your hips rest down on the ground. Feel the releasing of your shoulders, either onto the ground or just the way the shoulders might be releasing down toward your hips if you're seated. Notice how the closing of the eyes and the softening of the jaw just continues this relaxation. And how you have made a little shift, subtle but profound shift from doing the practice to being the recipient of all its benefits. Observe sensation as it arises and fades. Be the relaxed watcher of thoughts as they float through the mind, just like the cloud hands that were always flowing. Encourage that sense of fluidity as the thoughts come and go, grasping none. Kind of the ripples or the waves of emotion as they pass through the space of the heart. Allow things to arise and fade. The affirmations that come to mind are, I am whole, I am at rest, I am well resourced, I am facilitating my body's own healing capacity, I am present, I am trusting, I am awake. Just take a moment to kind of bookmark this feeling right now of feeling content and satisfied and hopefully relatively relaxed. Maybe if you just bookmark this moment, you might be able to revisit it at other moments in the day when you pause and take a breath. You'll be able to kind of sink back into the same kind of feeling of connection and ease. You can begin to make any kind of movements that will prepare you to come to a seat and then up to a standing position. But take your time, please. And once you feel ready to rise, you can come form a circle. I'll stay on this side for our folks at home on Zoom. But let's make a circle around. Let's take a look and greet each other. Good morning. Good morning. It's a pleasure to have you. Good morning, people on Zoom. So this is called Hope is Always Waiting, and I'm reading from one of my favorite books, The Sage's Tao Te Ching, Ancient Advice for the Second Half of Life. The sage or the wise one sees life in deeper ways, sees intricate patterns of beauty embedded in life's fabric. The sage sees comfort woven within the pain and sees gain shining amidst the loss, sees forgiveness binding up resentment's wounds, and sees life always rising out of death. So much of our perception is conditioned by our fears and our desires. We must learn to see things that others cannot see. Then we must assure them of the beauty hidden there. So look deeply into your life and search out the hidden things within your present circumstances. There is beauty there. Comfort and forgiveness are available. Hope is always waiting for you to find her. Love that. Hope is waiting. So let's make a fist with the right hand, signifying our strength, our power, right, our determination, and wrap it with the left palm, which symbolizes our gentleness, our yieldedness, our willingness to listen, to go gently, and creating this perfect blend for today of strength and gentleness. Draw this hand symbol right into the heart close, or to the chest, or to the abdomen. And so I'll just give a little bow to the wisdom of the practice and to time well spent. So, thank you. Thank you all for coming. Yes, thank you. Right. Thanks everybody on Zoom. Have a great day.